tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You need to hear with some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, what do you know? It's Tuesday, and it's another episode of Sabrina Speaks. So let me do this right here, right now. Good evening, good morning, good night from wherever you're streaming us live from, but it's time for another episode of Sabrina Speaks, Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration continues to take center stage. I am Sabrina, and it's good to be back with you on this Tuesday. OMG, oh, was I rocking this morning? Actually, no, I wouldn't say a rock. It was a darn jolt. And I know we'll get into that a little later on, because as the open mic segment and the summer edition here continues on the Sabrina Speaks show today, we will get to that as well. But I don't know about you, but it sure as heck got me. I mean, I just, I stood straight up. Yep, straight up, wondering what the heck that was. But today we're diving into an upcoming Beat of Our Heart drumming summer camp with representatives that's going to join me around 5:30. Then I got another set of representatives that will join me at 6 o'clock on another topic that you brought up yesterday in regards to the tap water. Yes, we're going to be hearing about a summer camp that's coming up with representatives from the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage. And I'll be joined momentarily with Shakira Miller and Kristy McElroy, who will share with us details about the camp and what it offers and how teens can get involved. And then, like I said, immediately after them, around, let's say, 6 o'clock, we will be joined by Miss Marcella Martinez-Ebanks, Laboratory Manager at the Cayman Islands Water Authority, and joined by Edlin Stoll. Both of these individuals will tell us and give us a better understanding about, that viral video that was going around. But we're going to be talking about and understanding the safety of our tap water, the testing process, quality controls that are in place. And like I said, that video that's been going around, they'll break down the facts for us, what that could mean. There's a lot of context that was missing. But the good thing is I'm happy that they are going to be joining us here this evening and tell us more. Now, after that, the mic will open. Yes, open mic. It's that summer edition. And we can talk about whatever's on your heart, including, like I said, the shake, the jolt, the swerve, whatever it was that you felt maybe this morning. And some of you are like, what are you guys talking about? We didn't feel anything. Well, I'll tell you what, I live to tell the tale. I felt it. So yes, it's all about the summer vibes, community updates, and much more. And we welcome you to join in on the conversation. So grab a cold drink, adjust your AC, do whatever it is you got to do. Just get comfortable is the key. But please remember that the views expressed by callers, guests, and online commenters are their own and not those of Bridge Media Limited, its affiliates, the Sabrina Speaks Show, or the host. Now, this program is for general information only and not a substitute for legal, medical, financial, or professional advice. Now, all participants are reminded to speak responsibly and respectfully. Any content that is defamatory, discriminatory, unlawful, or harmful is strictly prohibited and will not be endorsed or tolerated. Now, listener participation, whatever you're streaming us live on, you're hearing us, you're seeing us, your participation implies acceptance of this disclaimer. You want to join in live on the conversation? Yes, we love to hear your voice. That number, or if you want to even send us a WhatsApp, that number is 345-936-8255. To join in live, send us a WhatsApp there. Of course, we keep you anonymous as well. I didn't feel it. Oh, Jesus. North Carolina love has started making trouble already. I love you. I love you. But please continue to make sure you like, follow, and share the page with your friends and family for two main reasons. Guess what? You're always notified and you're never missing an episode of Sabrina Speaks. Nope. As we continue to build here, one episode at a time, we even getting into some of your business. And guess what? I got a picture out of the UK before this heat wave hit them. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture. It actually something that I could probably use as a screensaver or one of my a little pic. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. But we got a tight show today. We got guests, not too often, but we love having them nevertheless. And we will be joined by our guests after the news segment. We know how we do it here. As you continue to share the links with your friends and family, and we wait for our guests to come on. But let's take a look at what's happening with our weather here this evening on the Sabrina Speaks, and that's compliments of our friends there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Here's the forecast for tonight and into tomorrow. The synopsis is calling for a chance of showers that continues tonight as moisture behind a tropical wave affects the area. Now, coupled with an upper level low, a few thunderstorms are forecast for Wednesday. Winds are expected to be slightly strengthened as the pressure gradient tightens, with seas remaining slight throughout the period. Now, the forecast for tonight is calling for partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy with a 30% chance of showers with some thunder by early morning. Now, temperatures will fall to the low 80s and winds will be east 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. And the forecast for tomorrow is calling for cloudy skies, 40% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise near the low 90s with a heat index of 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, winds will be east 10 to 15 knots and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. There will be a high tide this evening at 9:41, a low at 3:42 a.m., and another high tide at 9:02 tomorrow morning. The sun will set this evening at 7:02 and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 6:01. Now, the outlook is calling for a ridge of high pressure to dominate and following the passage of the wave, resulting in moderate winds and decrease in chance of showers through Thursday. There you have it. That's our weather forecast for tonight and into tomorrow as we get all up to date with what's happening here at home in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We are still so blessed to call Cayman our home. Now let's go straight into the local headlines making Sabrina Speaks episode for today, starting with local news. Some residents across the Cayman Islands felt a brief shake this morning after a magnitude 4.5 earthquake occurred southeast of Bodden Town at 8:42 a.m. Now, Hazard Management Cayman Islands has issued an all clear, confirming no tsunami threat and no significant impacts at this time. Officials note that aftershocks are possible in the coming hours and days, though most are expected to be minor. Hazard Management Cayman Islands continue to monitor the situation closely, and safety guidance is available at caymanprepare.ky/earthquake. Other local news we see where 13 young Caymanians have graduated from the CBC recruitment training following a ceremony at the Harkwell Theatre. Official praised the cohort for their discipline and readiness to serve, noting they will now be deployed across key operational area. Now, several graduates received special honors, including Kayla Swaby, and earned multiple top awards, as was named valedictorian. Other recognitions went to Ethan Villalobos, Anthony Shelley, Naomi Carter, Jason Wells, Paula Caramola, and Christopher Herrera for excellence in fitness, academics, leadership, and drill. WORC is advising the public that temporary work permit applications are not legally required to be advertised. Officials note, however, that when employers choose to advertise a temporary work permit position, whether on the WORC portal, in local newspaper, or through any other medium, they must meet the same standards applied to a full work permit grant advertisement. Now, these includes all adhering to the required advertisement period, providing complete and accurate job details, and submitting recruitment outcomes when Caymanians or RERC applicants apply. As we took a look at what's happening regionally today, we start with Jamaica. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says that the government is preparing a comprehensive response to Jamaica's declining birth rate aimed at ensuring long-term demographic and economic sustainability. He notes that the issue goes far beyond medical or fertility concerns, describing it as a major socioeconomic challenge that demands coordinated policy action across multiple sectors. Official says the forthcoming plan will focus on stabilizing population trends and supporting the country's future development. A destructive tornado tore through parts of Wisconsin on Monday afternoon, leaving a trail of damage across several communities. Images from affected areas show toppled trees, downed power lines, and buildings with significant structural damage. As emergency crews work to clear debris and access the impact, local officials says recovery operations are underway, with residents urged to avoid hazardous areas while teams continue safety checks and restoration efforts. Other news out of the United States today, we see where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House earlier today, with discussions centered on ongoing war with Iran and efforts to curb Tehran's nuclear ambitions. Both leaders signal a push for unified strategy as regional tensions continues to rise. Now, the meetings come amidst heightened conflict across the Middle East, with officials stressing that they need to coordinate action to prevent further escalation and stabilize the region. Out of the UK today, we see where our king is being very bold, because the king visited RAF Marham earlier today to learn more about the capabilities of the UK's F-35B Lightning aircraft and to meet serving aviators and their families. Now, the aircraft, operated jointly by the RAF and Royal Navy, is based at RAF Marham and deployed on the Queen Elizabeth class carriers. His Royal Honorary Air Commander, His Majesty, viewed the cockpit and spent time with members of the wider airbase community, including a group focused on community support, resilience, and climate change. As we take a look at our business roundup for today, we see where global markets close mixed today, with the United States indices edging higher while the NASDAQ slipped slightly. Caribbean markets, however, were steady, with the TTSE composite holding firm and light trading reported across Eastern Caribbean exchange. In commodities, oil prices fell sharply. Gold ease and agriculture futures posted small gains as traders reacted to shifting global demand and regional weather pressures. And that concludes our news segment and weather for this evening. I want to say welcome one and all. It's good to have you with us here this evening for another episode here of Sabrina Speaks, as we continue, yes, like we do it always, to live and grow, be informed, and stay alert with all that's happening near and far. Let's take this opportunity to, let me just double check something here. Yeah, okay, I see you. We're just going to leave you in the back for a little bit. Stay right there. Hey, We're just going to take a look, and we just got some birthday shout outs to do this afternoon. Let's say huge birthday shout outs to JJ, who's celebrating a birthday. Look at him, who's 18. I feel like a a living fossil. When you see these kids grow up, and he's legally an adult right now, and I can remember when he was born. Well, from all of us here in the Sabrina Speaks family, happy birthday, JJ. Wishing you many, many more to come, and hoping that you're enjoying your day for sure. Thanks for all of you who shared in the love, definitely, and wishing celebratory birthdays with JJ and celebrating with him. From all of your family and all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks platform, happy birthday. To all of you other persons who are also celebrating a birthday today, we big shout outs go out to you from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks family. For those celebrating anniversaries, huge milestones as well, we are just sending lots of love for you on your special day. Yes, yes, yes. We are going to, let me save this for today. There we go. And we know that there are many amongst us in our community that are mourning the loss of a loved one. Yep, our thoughts and prayers go out to you as well. You know what? I'm just going to skip ahead this evening because I do have my second guests that were scheduled. Why not? Let's do it. It's open mic, right? We just do free flow. It's summer. We got Water Authority staff in the background with us waiting, and they're here to tell us more. I know at 5:30 we are expecting the ministry to come in and join us as well. But you know what? I'm just so grateful for the Water Authority heeding the invite and embracing this invitation to come on the Sabrina Speaks platform to tell us more. I'm going to hold our shout outs to you guys, community information as well, and all of my content creators in Bloom. And let's just get an update from the Water Authority representatives who are in the backstage right now with us to tell us more as we get to know what's, in store. Many of you were questioning, how our water is tested and whether or not our tap water is safe. We saw where one of the commenters sent in a question, and I just want to take this opportunity to welcome my guest here this evening on the Sabrina Speak show. And you heard it at the beginning. For those of you who may have missed it, I will be joined by Miss Marcela Martinez, who is from the lab, and Miss Stoll. Yeah, Stoll. Yeah. So let me bring them in, and we can get to learn about them more. We also get to know exactly what they do at the Water Authority, and let's just debunk all of what is in the public's domain. Edlin Stoll is with us, so let's say good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Sabrina.
Yes, it's good to have you with us. Welcome. This is your first time having you all featured on this platform, and I'm hoping it's not the last, but it is a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you joining us at such short notice, and I think it's fitting, given I'm quite sure by now you all may have heard or have seen the video for yourself. But to just demystify, I did my best yesterday going out on a limb, but I was definitely telling people we're safe. There was a lot of context missing from that video. But please, before we get into the basics of that, and to reassure the public of our standards and our quality of water, the process and all that sort of stuff, because we don't have rivers or anything like that. Introduce yourselves, what your roles are, so that our audience will get to know about more and validate exactly your reason and how you can inform us more on what's going on.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting us.
Pleasure.
As mentioned, I'm Marcela Martinez Ebanks, and I'm the laboratory manager. And I am joined by Krista Powell, who is one of our technologists.
Okay.
And actually, Krista on Saturday did see the video, and she promptly sent it to the lab WhatsApp group to, share. Okay, this is out there. So we had a little bit of a discussion about it, and we had a lot of questions. I did see we paused it to see, okay, what kind of meter are they using? What kind of water are they testing? There isn't a lot of context on there in terms of where the water is actually, so we can't say for sure whether this is Grand Cayman, whether it's West Bay, Georgetown. But one of the things I did was immediately look up the meter and what is a meter intended for. And it doesn't give you that guide if you're below 150, you're safe. But it also gives the explanation that what you're looking for is it time to change your water filter? So I interpret that to mean this is not a general water quality meter. This is intended for homeowners who may want some sort of an indication, do I need to change whatever water filter I'm using? That's one. And two, specifically the parameter they were testing is TDS, or total dissolved solids. This is a test that we're very familiar with here in the lab. We are an accredited lab. We are accredited by the American Association for Laboratory Accreditation. We've been accredited since 2002. And from 2002, TDS was actually one of our accredited parameters because it's a test that we do multiple times every day. This is a measure of how salty the water is. Specifically, it measures it in milligrams per liter, but that it does it by, I think we've all seen, backtrack, in science labs or in science primary school, this idea that water conducts water, we can put a meter and light up a light bulb, and that measures the conductivity of the water. And TDS is a related parameter, and specifically the meter then does a calculation. It measures the conductivity and then converts that to TDS. It assumes, I think, a baseline conversion factor, but from our experience, that can vary depending on the type of water. The other thing, and I think from a water quality point of view, the thing that most concerned me was the idea that I can measure TDS and tell whether my water is safe to drink or not. And that's not entirely true, because TDS measures the minerals in the water. It has no ability to indicate whether the water is safe from a microbial point of view. It has no intent if there are other factors in there. And the meter's website actually tells you that it is a water may contain dissolved solids, but it does not mean it's unsafe. And that I'm quoting from the website itself.
Right.
It just means that some of the healthy minerals, it says, might be in there, calcium, and additional testing is needed. Now, I think the video pointed out a TDS of 175. So I'd like to maybe put that in context. Rainwater has a TDS of somewhere around 50 to 75. Seawater has 25,000. The fresh groundwater in East End that many people have drank for many years has a TDS of about 400 or 500. Perrier water, which is very popular in many restaurants, has a TDS of more than 300. And the TDS by itself is not a measure of whether that water is safe to drink.
Is safe or not. Okay.
Correct.
So thank you for clarifying that.
Yes. So it does tell you how salty the water is. And some people like their water very salty. Some like fairly fresh water. And so there is a palatable taste to it, I guess. WHO, which is the regulatory body that we follow for drinking water guidelines, has a recommended aesthetic guideline value of below 800. And there is no health-based value on this because it doesn't necessarily impact health itself. The US EPA recommends somewhere below 500. And once again, this is a secondary drinking water standard because it affects the palatableness of the water, how people perceive that taste.
Okay.
We do offer a testing service to the public. So if there are customers out there who are interested in having their water tested, we do offer that at a slight cost. If there are concerns about, or specifically the Water Authority's drinking water supply, please reach out to us, info@waterauthority.ky. We would like to address that, and we have customers who reach out and say, okay, I've got a funny smell, or there's something in my water, and we will come out there and actually check the water at your premise to see what the issue is.
Now, some of the comments that we received yesterday was that some said that they could saw sometimes like froth coming from their pipes. Now, I'm not telling you how recent. This was just general conversation because there was just a viewer who asked a general question. I'm guessing that's because they saw the video. And then we got other comments coming in, where persons that's by choice. That's by choice that they choose not to. Some says, sometimes it has an odor Sometimes it's a bit frothy, and others were saying, that it's like a different color. Can you explain to us? We don't have rivers here. So what are we drinking? What are we using to bathe, to cook with, to mix our nice fruit punch, even though it could be full of we got to add water to it. We cook with it. Yeah, exactly. And drink. But, so.
And this is my water bottle, and it is filled from the Water Authority's kitchen tap.
Okay.
I've worked here for many years, and for all my time here in Cayman, this is what I've drank. So how is it made? It's actually made by reverse osmosis, and they are deep wells. So it is groundwater. When it's abstracted from these deep wells, it has a conductivity or a salinity very similar to seawater because it's being abstracted from very deep. Mm-hmm. It also has that characteristic rotten egg smell that you see from well
like
water.
Sulfur.
Yes,
Okay.
Hydrogen sulfide. So as part of the treatment process, it goes through the reverse osmosis, which removes a lot of the minerals and brings that conductivity down to somewhere around 300, TDS of somewhere around 150, 170. And then the process also removes that hydrogen sulfide from in there. Then we also add 3 chemicals for treatment. We add calcium hypochlorite, which is a disinfectant. We add sodium hydroxide to stabilize the pH, and zinc orthophosphate, which is a corrosive inhibitor. From there, the water is stored in the reservoirs and distributed to our pipeline. The lab itself, who has a staff complement of 9, is responsible for monitoring both what is being produced at the plant, what is in our reservoirs, as well as what's in our pipeline. So we actually have 40 sample taps along the distribution system that are monitored. We do roughly about 40,000 samples every year of just our distribution system, and that includes TDS, conductivity, a slew of microbiological parameters, as well as other parameters, metals, you name it. So I don't know if that answers your question. Sure.
Can you hear us, Sabrina?
Not sure if we've lost you. I should also say that we do have 3 different plants. We have 2 plants here at the Redgate facility. 4 plants, a Lower Valley plant and a Northside plant.
Okay.
So depending on where you are on the island, you may get distribution from one of those plants. I live in Newlands, so I'm predominantly the Lower Valley plant. The water quality across all 4 plants, though, is very consistent.
So all of your water is coming from the ground. It's not seawater that's being desalinated.
That is correct. All the plants operate a reverse osmosis plant using groundwater.
Okay. And for all of those persons who may be spooked at all of the ingredients that you were actually calling and adding to that, I'm quite sure with your expertise, WHO standards nationally, what can you say to these persons to say, look, let me just ease all of the fares. It may sound huge, but it's not like the levels wouldn't be dangerous. Obviously, we're
not at all. And everything, we are monitoring these. And for example, the calcium hypochlorite, which is a form of a bleach solution that's added to prevent any microbial growth happening. The reverse osmosis process removes more than 99% of any microbes that may be present in the groundwater. Mm-hmm. We do have calcium hypochlorite to prevent any regrowth along the distribution system. And I know that there are people who are concerned about chlorine in the water.
Yeah.
And this discussion that, chlorine causes cancer. But the caveat with that is that chlorine, the chlorine itself doesn't form cancer or cause cancer. It can react with organic matter that then produces these chemicals. Mm-hmm. But because we're using reverse osmosis, we are removing the precursors. So there's nothing there for the chlorine to react with.
Okay.
The sodium sodium hydroxide is a form of lime, and it stabilizes the pH. And it is not hazardous. It is not in any way dangerous for us.
Okay.
But
Ms. Kristy, go ahead.
Yeah,
Good,
like,
Marcel.
I would like to reiterate, though, that if our customers are concerned specifically at what is in
Yeah.
their tap, they can reach out to us at info@waterauthority.ky. Send
Mm-hmm.
us a message so that we can have a specific discussion with you as to what your concerns are. And we can actually do a test at your house and you can see, okay, what is the water quality at your home?
Okay. Miss Krista, tell us exactly. You are a technologist at the Water Authority. Can you give us some more information on what that is, what that role entails?
So as a water technologist, apart from doing some of the bench work, which is actually doing the analysis, routinely, as Marcella was saying, we do a slew of bacterial tests,
Mm-hmm.
as well as we do test for heavy metals, which is includes monitoring, like she said, the zinc orthophosphate. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that we've added to the water, we are testing to make sure that the concentrations do meet the World Health Organization criteria, as
Okay.
well as the criteria that is set by the Water Authority. Because we do want to make sure that the water is aesthetically pleasing to the public, as
Mm-hmm.
well as safe, most importantly.
Okay.
My role also includes, data review to, do some data trending, making sure to see are things consistent or are they falling or are they
Mm-hmm.
increasing.
Okay. I have been joined by Ms. Stoll. So we're going to invite Ms. Stoll from the Water Authority to join in. Hi, good evening. Had you just lurking
Hi.
in the back there like a harbor shark. My apologies.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm happy to be on.
It is good to have you guys at such short notice to come on and to pretty much just dispel or to just make it clear that we got a lot of questions that came about yesterday in regards to the quality of our tap water. People had their own concerns based on the viral video, and I just want to say thank you all for just last minute pretty much coming in at short notice to tell us more and to just pretty much reassure the public the quality and standards of our water. So thank you for joining us.
It's our pleasure, and we appreciate the opportunity to get to speak with your audience. So thank you for that.
Sure. So, of course, you're coming in at this stage of the game. What would you like the general public to know and how important it is for getting information out to them? I know you guys got a very active social media page and just getting information out in general. What would you like the public to know, first of all, about your role and what you do there and the importance of your role there at Water Authority?
So for clarity for everybody out there, I work in the corporate communications area of Water Authority. Our team did a great job. I was listening in of, explaining things from a technical side, and, helping people have a good understanding of what it is that they do and the work that they do every single day to ensure the safety of our water.
Right.
And I think that's one of the main points that I want people to understand is that our team is working every day, right? We have standards that we have to be uphold to. We have an accredited laboratory, right? So it's not like, things are just being tested willy-nilly. No, this is a proper laboratory. We are accredited. You can trust the processes that we follow and the standards that we uphold. And like I said, our team is working on this every single day. Another point, which they have mentioned before, but I feel like we really, really need to reiterate this to people, is that if you have a concern about your water quality, we want you to reach out to us. Water quality and that is a major thing for us. We take that very seriously. So if somebody has a concern, the best thing to do is to reach out to us directly so we can go out and investigate and make sure things are the way that they should be. The internet is a great place to find information and details, but it's our team that's going to be the one to be able to actually help you in terms of what's actually happening at your tap. So please, yes, you can find details and information and useful information online. But if you have a concern about what's happening with your tap, please let our team know. And we will make sure that if there is anything concerning that, we get that rectified, we get things tested. That's really kind of one of the main things we really want to push home today is if you have a concern, let us know. And we're working really hard every day to ensure the safety of your water. And also another really important reminder is the Water Authority services most of the island, most of Grand Cayman, but if you're living along the 7 Mile Corridor or in West Bay, your piped water service provider is actually Cayman Water. So if you have a concern and you're living in that area, make sure you contact them. They also would want to know as well. But that's an important reminder because sometimes people get a bit confused between the two water utility companies. So that's also another important reminder that we just
So
want
that's for
people to
West
be
Bay.
aware
Where
of.
does that cut off, or where does they start? Where would they start?
It's around that area of Quartz Road. It's kind of close to
Kirk's.
where Kirk's. Yes.
Oh, Kirk
So
Supermarket. Okay.
from that point up along the 7 Mile Corridor and then into West Bay, that's going to be Cayman Water.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. Excellent information sharing as well. So overall, with what we are seeing, like I said, I just want to thank you guys ladies for coming on and just letting us know. We got a question here. How much is it to have a test done? And I'm assuming that's of your own house water. If someone wants their water tested, what would be that cost if you know that offhand?
We do actually, and it depends. Now, if you have a water quality concern and you are one of our customers, there is no cost for us to come out there and test that water. And we do have customers who have cisterns or wells that they want tested. And for those, we treat them differently. We don't go out there and actually collect those samples. You would have to collect containers from us and then bring the samples back to us. And I must add that we don't accept what we call walk-in requests, just from a workload management point of view.
Okay.
So you can find a list of all the tests that we do offer to the public on our website. And the cost for most parameters is $10 per parameter.
Okay.
So if I wanted to have my water tested for total coliform bacteria and conductivity or TDS, then that would be $20 for those two tests.
Okay, interesting. But if somebody smells something off, like the rotten egg, the sulfur, or sea froth, or a different color or something like that, it's in their best interest to just call you all and you will come out and you will definitely do the testing. But for right now, for everything that we've said, what is the final wrap up reassurance that you would like to leave with our listening and viewing audience today?
I think for me, and I'll go first, the major part for me is this is the water I drink. This is the water that my kids drink. This is the water we drink at our home. And if I didn't feel safe with it, I would not be drinking it. This is what I drink.
Okay. Ms. Powell?
I personally just would like everyone to know that don't be afraid of the Water Authority. You can call us. You know, we're very friendly people and we're all about sharing the knowledge. And sometimes I think, you know, we all enjoy having a little bit of technology in our hands, but I think it's always good to do your further research. And if you're not sure, give us a call and we can always try our best to help you out.
Okay, thank you. Another question popped up since we're just here. They're just coming in. How frequently does the Water Authority perform routine Legionella testing? I think that would be Marcella.
Yes, and quite frequently, actually. Within the last within the last 10 days, we've processed about 18 samples from our distribution system for Legionella. And these are specifically the sample taps throughout the distribution system are monitored weekly, and Legionella is usually included as part of that.
Now, for someone who doesn't have a clue what that is, can you break it down as quickly as you can?
I think Legionella has been in the Cayman news for a while. And specifically, we're talking about Legionella pneumophilus, which is the bacteria that causes Legionnaire's disease, which is a form of pneumonia.
Okay.
So because it's been in our news recently, I think there's questions about if my water is tested for it. And the answer is yes. We are routinely testing for Legionella pneumophilus in our drinking water.
Okay. Thank you for that clarity. And I hope that answered that question for Mr. Henry. And Ms. Dole, what parting words would you like to leave with us? And I'm hoping that this is not your last time on here.
I feel like I just have to reiterate what my colleagues have said before. You know, that's the water I drink every single day is our tap water, right? And it's what my children drink as well, too. It's what our family drinks. And I get the privilege of getting to work alongside these ladies and the rest of our laboratory team. And I see how hard they work every day to make sure that our water is safe for people to drink. So when we say it, we really mean it. We're living it. We're doing it ourselves. And then also finally, if you ever have a concern, please reach out to the Water Authority, right? Send us an email. give us a call, find us on social media. Like I said, the internet's great for finding information, but if you want to know something about what's happening with your particular connection, with your particular tap, then that's our team that's going to be able to answer that question for you. And if you have a problem, we want to help solve that. So please reach out to us with any concerns that you might have.
Thank you so much. Well, ladies, thank you. It has been a pleasure having you here this evening. And I'm hoping that for all of those persons who were a little bit turned off or concerned about that viral video that is in circulation, questioning the safety of our tap water, I'm hoping that the explanation that Marcella was able to give along with Krista has actually gotten you back into a more comfortable state to know that we are doing what we have to do. Everything that is context really matters is what we're trying to say here. And that these ladies were able to give you a calm sense that we're safe, we're good. But I want to thank the Water Authority teams. Thank you all for joining us. Do have a good evening and hoping to see you soon. Not on these type of terms, but definitely we could just get to know more about the Water Authority so that people will have an understanding, of exactly what happens behind the scenes as we continue to learn here on the Sabrina Speaks space, one episode at a time. But thank you both, all of you, for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Have a good evening.
Have a good one.
There we go. I want to thank the ladies for joining us here this evening. It's such a pleasure to have them. And I'm hoping that they were able to answer your questions. But my other set of guests are in the background as well. And I'm talking about none other than Miss Shakira Miller and Miss Kristy McCoy telling us more about, guess what? We're going to be hearing about this. But I'm not going to tell you about it because they're going to tell us about it. Now, you know something with music. It could be Rattling the Harp of Boys. Yes, I would shake it. No, you know what? Let me bring in these two ladies. Let us tell them more. Let them tell us some more about this upcoming camp. Good evening, ladies. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Sabrina.
Hello, can you hear us? Technical difficulties? Can you hear us? That's up.
I'm hearing you fine.
Okay, good. There we go.
You're back. Good. All right.
Yeah, back.
There we go. It's a pleasure to have you on the Sabrina Speak Show as we hear more about the upcoming free summer camp. And I want to welcome both of you in studio with us. And we're speaking to Miss Shakira Miller and Miss Kristy McElroy, who is here to tell us more about this upcoming camp. Busy day for you ladies?
Very busy. What was that we heard before you brought us in? Something about you dancing?
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, Lord, it could be Rattling. It could be Rattling Boys. I jump. But when you hear camps like this, it gets me all going. So tell us more about this upcoming camp. I'll put the flyer up here just in case people are just hearing about it. And we will definitely be sharing the registration link as well in the comments below. Tell us what this is all about.
All right, so it's a new initiative being offered by our ministry, the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage. It's called the Beat of Our Hearts Summer Drumming Camp. And as you know, we're all about the culture and heritage. So we are bringing in Mr. Willis Stewart, who's an internationally renowned percussionist. He was a part of the Third World Band. So he will be heading that up along with Jason Gilbert and Renard Powell from the Folk Singers. And the idea behind this is we want to create a drumming collective in the future. So from this week's camp, we will be pulling available students from that to performing a concert in February.
Oh,
Which
wow.
yes, that's going to be another big ministry event. But so we can focus on this one. This is happening on the 10th to the 15th of August, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Intergenerational Hub, which is next to DHL behind Price right there. Cost is completely free, and spaces are limited. So we're asking people to register sooner rather than later.
Okay. Now, because it's free, it's for teens. Is there an age restriction? I mean, yeah. Tell us the ages.
Right now, we're taking 14 to 18, but if you have a sibling that's 14 and a younger one that maybe is 12, that's the youngest we'll go.
Okay,
Once
so
the order
it's
is-
understood. That makes sense. Now, you've got this world-renowned percussionist. What does that say for the level of training that these young ladies and gentlemen will be exposed to at this age? That's amazing.
Yeah, it definitely speaks volumes. He is a founder of the Solutions in Music, which is a system that he has in the schools in Miramar, Florida, and the focus is at-risk students, and it's run really well, and they have it works for them. So that assisted the minister and the chief officer with making this decision to bring something similar here to our islands.
Right.
Giving everyone a positive outlet.
Yeah. Now, just walk us through what a typical day would look like for this camp. What do you got in store for the kids? If you're able to highlight, you can a lot of beating. Yeah, some of us adults probably need that to beat out frustration.
You know what? I'm going to take that back to the chief. We might get something worked out for you. So yeah, it'll be a lot of introducing a lot of the techniques required for his specific type of drumming. We're hoping to get Mr. Willie on with yourself or Miss Catron by next week. Hopefully, he's expressed willingness to go on radio here to talk about his expertise.
Well, that's not a problem. She's in the morning. I'm in the evening, even though I'm going on leave next week. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow. Fun times.
I don't know about that, but
and so we'll provide refreshments for the kids, so parents don't have to worry about that.
Unless your child has specific allergies or specific dietary restrictions, then we're encouraging you to bring your own stuff.
Well, that would make sense. Yeah. And you want to declare this as well from the registration. I'm going to be posting the registration form that you all shared with me here. So let me just share it in the link below so that interested persons can go and they can click on that link and they can register their kids to participate. So you're getting it in real time right here. This is world-renowned percussionist, Third World, that will be there at the Intergenerational Hub. Right now, their age range is 14 to 18, but if there's a mature child that will behave, they will not go any lower than age 12. I got that right, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, there's a special announcement. I'm not so sure. I mean, it'll be special for us here. Is there any tricks up your sleeve? Anything you got to share with us?
Well, we are the Ministry of Fun, so there's always some tricks up our sleeves. We have next on the 15th, no, the 8th and the 9th of August, we have Mr. Oliver Samuels, who is coming in, and the ministry will be hosting him for 2 showings of his newest play, and it's called, Miss Kristy, remind me.
Where there's a will, there's a criminal.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yep. And more information is definitely coming out. We're just gathering our promotional items, and we're going to send that off to you all. But that is going to be exciting. 2 shows. We got to watch him twice.
Yeah. That, and he's always full of belly busting laughter. So you guys are continuing to just be very busy. This is a very busy time for you, period. I mean, you got the summer event, which kudos to you for putting that on, even though that's a joint ministerial task that you've undertaken. You got this, that is definitely the beat of our heart. And now you got that, the Oliver Samuels, you've heard it here, and Pirates Week.
Yes, ma'am.
So you guys are going to be busy, and then we head straight into the holidays.
Yep.
So many more things in between.
A lot. Yeah, it's a lot. We have some Christmas competitions as well that we're hosting.
We have the Older Persons Month talent show in October.
And the folk singers concert.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of things coming up.
Well, the fact that this camp is free, pretty much all of this is funded by our government, your ministry. What would you want people to understand in regards to how important this is, that they don't even have to think about it? That's huge.
It's us really investing in our youth and making them a priority. We want to give them the opportunities that will help them grow, not just academically, but personally and culturally as well.
Right.
So we're hoping that this will just leave them feeling more confident, that they've learned a new skill and develop friendships along the way.
Yeah.
Now we talk about inclusion and all that sort of stuff, and how important that is for, just making sure everybody is included. Are there any provisions made for any persons with needs about just being inclusive?
For this particular camp, no, I'll have to say no.
Okay,
but
that's fine.
Yeah, we're working on things for Pirates Week to be very inclusive. Yeah, but we don't have it in place for this particular camp.
Okay, fair enough. Now, spaces are very limited. What's the maximum, and how close are you? How close are you with getting those fill up? Have you gotten a good response thus far?
Yeah, we have a good response. We have maybe 10 spots left. Maybe 10.
Okay, and once that is now, how important is it that if you secure yourself a spot, that you show up? And
Yes,
not just
very
block
important.
it. Don't just block the space, because you could be actually blocking somebody else from attending, and someone who really would show up for all the days then miss out on that opportunity. So parents and children who hear of this, we want you to make sure that if you block this space, you got to show up. That's very important. This is free of charge. So
otherwise, we're going to give it to you. You'll have to come in and take their place.
I would be a big 18, I tell you that. But thank you for the invite. I would love to just come there, but like I told you, just beating up on that, get out our frustration. But ladies, it is good to have you on. I'm hoping that the kids and just overall the Cayman Islands can really appreciate everything that you all are doing to keep our culture alive. The mere fact that you all have so much going on, you have so much that you're offering, and lots of times that we have you featured on this platform, it is free of cost. Now, you rarely can find that anywhere else.
It's true. Very true.
These things sometimes are taken for granted. It is an opportunity to build confidence, new friendships, shows us a sense of cultural pride. It even shows creativity that some of these kids may not even have been able to identify that they have within themselves. So I really hope that people will take advantage of this, that the spots are filling up. But kudos to you and your team there in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage for putting on such a phenomenal thing, for arranging this and everything else that you all are doing. I know it can't be easy.
No, it's not easy, but we love what we do. So that makes it easy for us in a certain, to a certain extent.
At least we don't hate coming to work.
Yes.
Even if you shake a little bit, shake.
No. But some of these ideas don't come to life unless the minister or the CEO brings it to us. So we thank them for having such a broad outcome on what they want.
That's right. Now, before we wrap up here, is there anything else we need to know? Any additional information you'd like to repeat or recap? Now's an opportunity, both or individually. It doesn't matter. It's your opportunity.
We just want to emphasize that, you can email us to register at the ysch-events@gov.ky. Or you can go to the ministry's Instagram page. The link is in the bio, and our handle is at MYSCH_Cayman. And if you can't do either of the two, you can pop by the Intergenerational Hub. We're on the second floor, and we're happy to help you and print the form, sign you up.
Ms. McElroy, any parting words from you?
And whether you've played music before or you've never touched a drum, everyone is welcome.
Okay. Well,
Just
ladies,
come with an open mind and come to learn something new.
Yeah.
that's right. And the key is the spaces are limited and they're filling up. Approximately 10 remain. And no, I don't need any of them. I'm just going to find one of them and start pounding anyhow. Yeah.
Sounds good.
But thank you, ladies. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to allow us to share this camp and the events that are taking place, and even sharing with us what's upcoming. And we know and we hope that this will not be your last time on here, telling us as we continue to educate, inform, and keep our community updated with everything that's happening within your ministry. Again, from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks platform, thank you for your service, all that you do, and definitely trying to keep it alive with our culture and sharing that with our future generations to come. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. See you soon. Have a good evening. Bye. Well, there you have it. Yes, we had back-to-back guests here this evening. And yes, what you just heard are our ladies from the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage telling us about this upcoming camp. Yes, you've heard it here. Beat of Our Heart Drumming Summer Camp. Spaces are limited, and that will run from the 10th of August to the 16th at the Intergenerational Hub from 4 until 7 p.m. Now, guess what? The instructor is going to be Willie Stewart. Now, he's the percussionist, the drummer of Third World. Yeah, he's going to be teaching all of these kids who are fortunate enough to actually secure one of these limited spaces. And the ages right now is from 14 to 18. And we said it'll be happening on the second floor, the Intergenerational Hub. It's interactive, fun, cultural experience. And yeah, why not? So the key is, listen to this. This is free. This is totally free. So we got to say what we got to say about our government, our administration, this ministry. Thank you. Thank you. This is an opportunity that not many would actually be able to take advantage of, and we're doing this for free. So yes, please remember, space is limited. I've posted the link below if you want to register your child or children. Look at the age restriction, but if you have a mature 12-year-old, they will be willing to consider 12 as well. So teens, parents, guardians, please sign up, discover the beat of our heart through this rhythm, culture, and community. And we want to thank Ms. Shakira and Kristy for joining us this evening, giving us an insight as to what's in store and keeping us in tune with what is happening there and even what's upcoming. So we're looking forward to having them back in short order to tell us more that's in store. There we go. Well, good evening. It is open mic, and they have started. We are going to take this incoming call right here, right now on the Sabrina Speaks. Let's go. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind?
Good evening. I was going to say good night, because when I came to the Caribbean, there are certain parts of the Caribbean where instead of saying good evening, they say good night. But anyway, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Now, I was listening to some of that, those interviews about drumming. It's just amazing how drumming can be seen as being very easy, and yet, it can be so complicated. There are even some songs they say they became big hits because the percussion was so good. They did not become big hits so much because of the other instruments, but by the most ignored instrument, if you can call it that. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday, at the end of the day, there was the last caller. There is one of your regular callers. I love to listen to him. He made the point. It is a point that is always being made. Of course, it is a valid point about this issue of who are we developing for, foreign people coming to Cayman and disrespecting Caymanians, which is a valid complaint I found. But to me, I always, when I listen to that, I agree with it. But at the same time, I like to relate my own experience in relation to that. I have found that when you are a foreigner and you come in and you want to give respect to Caymanians and say, you are the people who are hosting me. I want to give respect to you. And if you need some training, I can give you some training and those kinds of things. You wind up yourself now being victimized. And I think that is one thing that the government has to deal with. Okay? And I'm not just saying that it is because it happened to me. You see, a lot of people who come to Cayman, they say, well, we came to Cayman, we built Cayman, and we've done this and that. Caymanians don't understand this, don't understand that, which is total nonsense. Huh? Okay? The mere fact that Caymanians are few doesn't mean that they don't understand certain things. In fact, those people, the way I see it, most of them, Cayman has built them more than they have built Cayman. And also, I do not believe that, for example, if you come to a country, they employ you in a job or you're doing a business or whatever it is. But let's talk about a job. And you are doing a job. You can't boast about we have done this and that for Cayman. You were given a job and you were being paid for it. So I don't see that you should go out there and say, well, we've built Cayman. No.
Like an
Cayman was paying
entitlement.
you.
Like they're expecting you're entitled to get some return on a choice that both parties made.
Yeah, exactly. It's a choice which both parties made. Now I know that on the Cayman side as well, there are some people who say, well, these people can't earn this kind of salary where they come from. Well, that is also true. Okay. But again, it's a deal. You need them because you don't have your own people. And they come to you because they can't earn that money at home. So at the end of the day, it's not as if one is doing a favor to the other one. Really, it is just a fair deal. And I think so long as both sides are meeting their obligations, I think that's good. But I'll tell you, in my case, going back to that issue, what I tried to do, I tried to see if I could make a contribution more than just earning my salary. It was really something that I wanted, okay? And what I did in relation to that, for example, I wrote a couple of books. One of the books is called The Legislative Process, a handbook for public officials. That book was recommended by Mr. Arden McLean, the Honorable Arden McLean. When he was called after the last election, they brought him in to speak to the new MPs and to try and guide them on how they were going to, how to get more familiar with their job. And one of the things he recommended, 2 books. He recommended Erskine May, which you are aware of, on parliamentary procedures. And then he recommended, and he recommended my book, The Legislative Process. It's a more than 200-page book. But also there is a smaller book about 140 pages specifically on the Cayman Islands. But he recommended my blue one. And the reason he recommended that was because he had read it. Now, I never even knew actually that he had recommended it. I was listening to OC's show and Roy Tatum and Kenneth Bryan were on. And it came up, they said, oh, well, Mr. McLean recommended Mr. Simamba's book. I never even knew. So that's how I got to know about that. But do you see, but if I were to tell you some of the things I went through about that, it was a problem. When we tried to launch the book at Kamana Bay at the bookshop there, we booked everything, the pictures were up, and so it was going to be a small, nice launch. I asked the only Caymanian who had joined the legislative drafting department. I said, you know what? I won't call her name. I said, can you come and be our MC at our little ceremony there? It's very nice that a Caymanian should be there. And also it would be nice to mention that you are the only Caymanian in the department. You know what happened? The head of department, who is a status holder, did not approve of that Caymanian going there to become an MC. And he did not approve also of any mention at that launch to say that she had joined the legislative drafting department. And that decision was given to the Attorney General. The Attorney General approved it. Do you see how when you are trying to contribute something over and above your salary, they stand in your way? Now, I should give credit to the Attorney General. He wrote a foreword for the book, and it was a very good foreword for the book. But beyond that, everybody in the department, or rather not everybody in the department, the top two people in the department who were the status holders, they just stood in the way about it. And when I was there, for example, I tried to train this particular lawyer. I told the head of department, give me this lawyer to train. I've got a lot of experience in training. I mean, I'm a UK Canadian trained legislative counsel. I was even at that time already teaching online part-time lawyers in Canada and elsewhere on how to write legislation. And also I used to go to Rome in the 90s to teach a legislative drafting course there. That's how I met the late Julian Banks, who that was the first Caymanian I ever met because she was doing the course there. So I said, look, I've got a lot of background and I'm also published in England and elsewhere on legislative issues. Can I train this Caymanian? I was told, no, you are not going to train the Caymanian. And when all this got to the authorities didn't come out on the side of the Caymanian. Forget about me.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come out on the side of a Caymanian to say, well, look, here is a guy with a very good background. He's trying to train a Caymanian. Why are you preventing him from doing that? Then, in government, I then developed, in addition to the books, I developed some courses, 9 courses, PowerPoints, binders, and everything. I asked if the chief officers could allow me to teach the course to them. Some of them agreed, but when, the whole chief officers, 20 of them, I think they were at the time, they agreed, yeah. We want to do the course, especially on legislative process. We also want to do your course on judicial review. I said, yeah, this is very important because other countries, they teach people like you these things. The thing went to the chief officers meeting. They were very keen to have it done. They asked 2 chief officers, I won't call their name. One of them is now no longer in government, who said, they said, you arrange some pilot courses, and then we'll see if we like it. Then we can spread it in the civil service. When that got to the powers that be in government, they said, no, we are not going to do that. They stopped me from doing that. Then I went to court to try and get a court order in a judicial review. They paid the KC for about $58,000 to come and fight to prevent me from teaching that privately and so forth. And yet, when I was going to teach it privately, I was going to operate through a company owned by a Caymanian who said, look, you've got all this knowledge. I want my people to benefit from you. I've put together a training company. Just go to government, get permission for you to teach privately. Get permission, and then we can teach privately outside working hours. They couldn't give me that permission.
Oh, wow.
I went to court, they fought it. So the point I'm trying to make, Sabrina, is this. Those of us, one last point. In government, I offered that I would prepare a handbook for legislation. In all other jurisdictions, usually they've got not just a handbook, but also a legislation.
Right.
I offered that I could prepare that so that people can learn how this is done in addition to the courses. I was told you can't do that. So anybody who comes to Cayman today and asks me, how do I navigate the professional and personal things in Cayman? I will tell them, be very careful. It doesn't pay for you to try and be fair to Caymanians and to assist them. The status holders are the ones in charge, and they are going to victimize you unless you can do it maybe better than I did. So that's the issue as Caymanians you have to face. But let me mention one other little thing. You will stop me when I'm going off then. You see, when I went to court, right?
I need you to.
2 of the cases.
I needed you to cover the and I want you to make it tight because we have other calls coming in.
Okay.
But we were actually, I know it's open mic, but a lot of what you're sharing with us, we have heard before. And I know because you're putting it in context, right?
I'm just putting it a little bit more in context, yeah.
Right. But I think a lot of people in general, if you could, in a synopsis, just break down something that has been very topical recently and talk in general, nothing in specific.
Okay.
The true meaning from a legal perspective of a grandfather's clause.
True meaning.
I know it's broad, but there's a reason why I want to be objective with the direct question, what it means.
You see, a grandfather's clause is sometimes in law it is called a transitional provisions, vested rights, and so on. So basically, what a grandfather clause is supposed to be is like this: you have changed the law, but while you are changing the law, there are certain people who are already in the system. For example, you want to change the requirements relating to PR and all that. Okay, you want to change that, but then there are people who have already been here for 5 years. Others have not yet made 8 years. Some have made 8 years, but they haven't applied. There are others who have applied, but they have not got a response. So what you try to do is you try to make specific provisions that will say very, very clearly how those will be affected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that's what you try to do. Now, there are, if you do not make specific provisions, there are certain default things that apply.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there is a concept sometimes which is called a concept of vested rights. Like if certain rights have vested, then unless you specifically say in the legislation how those rights will be affected, it will be presumed you don't intend to affect them. Okay, but that is only a presumption. So, for example, if people have already applied, I've given 3 categories of people like who might be in the process of getting PR or status.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, haven't reached 8 years, but I've been here for some years. I've reached 8 years, but they haven't applied. They've reached 8 years and they've applied, but they haven't received the response. Your legislation has to say very, very clearly how they will be affected. Now,
that could be what is the misunderstanding, because it appears as though what was being said, what people understood, what we read, what we shared here, and what is actually taking place is multiple different things. I can't even say 2 different things. And that is causing a lot of confusion right now. Is that fair to a society? And we're just speaking in general for full disclosure.
No, it's okay.
Or does fair even come into this context when you're having a case where if you disagreed with how something is being done, then you challenge it in court. But if one thing was being promoted in a certain light, everyone heard the same thing. You can't have an entire community, an entire country pretty much hearing and understanding one thing, but then something else is put in practice. That can't be right.
Well, and you are so right to make that general point, and that's a point I tried to make when there was this debate about these things, because you remember at the very beginning, again, we'll keep it general.
Yes.
There was this issue about, okay, if you have been in Cayman for 5 years, will those 5 years, like if they say now for you to get a PR, you need 15 years, will the 15 count? Okay? Oh, sorry, will the 5 years you've been here count? Yeah, will they count? What was announced at the time was that your period of time will start on the 1st. At that time, it was the 1st of April, I think. It was changed a little bit later. So, in other words, what they said, and I remember asking one of the ministers when they were on one of the shows, can you clarify this? They said, no. What is going to happen is that your 9 years, what is the period now for PR? Is it 9?
Yes. Application should be received before the end of your final work permit. And the earliest you can apply is by 9. Yeah. Because the rollover coincides with 9 years.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what the response from the government was that everybody's period will start on the 1st of April. So in other words, what they were saying is that
May. 1st of May.
Yeah, in other words, it was 1st of May, right? Yeah. So in other words, how that worked out in practice was as follows. In other words, it didn't mean like if you had been in Cayman for, say, 8 years, they said that if you had been in Cayman for 6 years, for example, they said when you reach 8 years, you can apply for PR. In other words, that 9-year period will only start on the 1st of May. So in other words, what they meant was this 9-year rollover period will only start applying 9 years from the 1st of May. That's what they said. Okay. And then later on, as it was being discussed and so forth, some people complained. They said, oh, no, but surely if you've been here for 5 years or for 4 years, it should apply to you as well. Because under the law, so long as the law is clear that it will apply to you as well, there's nothing that prevents it from applying. And that's what I said in terms of legal advice. You know what? There's no legal right which says that the law can never change. This thing has been litigated in other parts of the Commonwealth. You can be in Cayman for 7 years. And if the law changes and says that you now need 9 years for PR, that will apply to you. So long as the law is very clear. Okay? Because you can't say, well, you can't change the law, I was already here. No, it's a question of policy. And this has been litigated. So apparently, because people complained, later on the government started now saying it differently. Saying, oh no, but now it applies to you even if you are already here. In other words, the period you are here, when you reach 9 years, and then you are going to be rolled over. And that's where the confusion is. If you ask me today, I don't know what the law is, because what I was reading in the law is different from what they initially said.
I'm glad you're saying it. I'm glad you're saying it. It's almost like you're taken for a spin, and the guidebook keeps being updated, which is why I'm being very general with my question, because are we then going back to the law, or we're just going into what's put in practice? And if you got an issue with it, then you take us to court. That's what it's appearing.
Well, that's the way it appears to me. It appears to me that rather than, one, they made the initial announcement and people were not happy about that. Then rather than them like making it clear from a policy angle and making the changes to the law, if they want to, right? If they change it, instead of doing that, they have just decided, okay, we will not change the law, but what we will do is we will apply it in a certain way. And if you are unhappy, go to court. But that's not the way you legislate. No, that's not the way you legislate.
And there are a lot of people that are very nervous right here. I know you're not living here, but a lot of people are becoming very nervous, are becoming very concerned. And you can see the confusion. You can hear it, and even when they reach out, what's going on? That's not what was being published. That's not what the law is saying. Now, it's good to say ignorance of the law is no excuse. But from a national perspective, you cannot expect people to even trust the system when we're seeing this playing out in real time. You brought up the thing about how can you say that somebody is really Caymanian then, if for the next 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, you got to do an annual declaration. That's not true citizenship. I can remember a previous conversation that we had. Yeah.
But the other thing, Sabrina, is these annual declarations, didn't they exist in relation to PR before?
Yes, sir, they did. They did request in regards to SEAM terms and conditions based on the grant, and then you paying your annual fee. But now it's been extended now to those with the marriages and status now. Yeah.
Even status?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Come on.
Yes, sir. For 3 years on the grounds of marriage. Now, again, this is all subject to change for full disclosure, because now I've even heard that they're saying, remember, which was why we had this conversation about the grandfather's clause. Okay. If you got, as you rightfully asked, didn't these annual declarations apply prior to this? Yes. Okay. But the understanding was, if you were previously granted, and let's say your RERC did not have that clause, that you would not have been subjected to anything that took effect on the 1st of May. What is now appearing to happen is that anybody with a RERC now has to do an annual declaration.
Well, I mean, to me, I stopped talking about this. I'm not even Caymanian
If you
anyway.
notice, I've
So
stopped. I've had to stop because I cannot get the
Yeah.
information. It is very, and it's sad when you got persons like yourself, myself, and other learned people in the legal fraternity. They're like, look, no, look, I just stopped looking at even the guidebook because something is not making sense. But we can't all just put up our hands on this because people
Exactly. Well,
are
the
impacted by
guidebook,
this. Exactly.
the guidebook was also just went into other things. I forget what it was. I remember when I read the guidebook, a certain Caymanian friend of mine sent me a message. It says, "Have you read the guidebook?" The guidebook, I forget what it said. It again said something that was not quite in the legislation, and the definition of Caymanian was different from what
There's
was
a lot. There's
I
a lot that is not correlating
but
with the principal laws.
Exactly, which is not correlating with the principal laws. And at that point, that's when I said, no. Maybe there's something I don't understand about this. But I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is, I'll be very frank, government in Cayman is controlled by the private sector. You can be sure that somewhere between when they made the policy and passed the legislation, there was this pressure that they should do it in a certain way. Or in fact, the pressure would have begun before. You have sat in the Legislative Assembly. I've sat there as an official. I know how sometimes, even as we are doing committee stage amendments, phone calls are coming from the private sector. Can you put this? Can you put that? Now, I'm not saying that it is wrong for the private sector to be involved. But if you have agreed something in cabinet, that this is the way we are going to go to the Legislative Assembly, it should really change very little because it has been agreed by cabinet. But to me, it is just a sign that government in Cayman is under a lot of pressure to decide certain things in a certain way. What I can say is that this government has not done well. They came out, they announced one thing, they did another thing, and now people are confused and they are not coming out now to say very clear what is the position. You can't say now, well, we will legislate this way, but we will implement it differently. If you are unhappy, go to court. That's not fair to people. It is not fair to the Caymanians because you are not telling them truth. And then those people who have come to Cayman are making their own contribution as well as through their work and so on and so forth. They do not know, as you said, there's some trepidation about, whether they will be allowed to apply or not. This has to be clarified by the government. They have failed to deal with the issue properly. It is much more confused now than it was even at the very beginning.
Well, when you hear some of the lowest, medium, and the highest tiers that are pretty much tearing their hair out of their head, unless there is a private client that comes in to challenge it legally, some of these stories may not be heard. And they will be dealt with in chambers, in court, on a private matter. But what does that say for the larger populace of the population of people who are then possibly disenfranchised because of this way of governance, then, or no, not governance, but implementing a legislation? You have more experience, of course, than myself when it comes to legal issues. What could be that could be quite damning on a jurisdiction if somebody really challenges it and look at all of these pieces of the puzzle, look and compare it side by side with the principal legislation. It's like you're steering us one direction, but the principal law is here saying something totally different. That can't end well if somebody really sits down and put the pieces together and then, hey, what does that say on our national reputation?
Well, it's interesting that you should say that. Well, first of all, you understand immigration law in Cayman, having practiced in it longer than I do. I just tend to sort of like, if any issue arises on a specific issue, I can examine that. And also I've got a general understanding about PR since I went through that system. But you see, the other thing that you mentioned there is that when people go to court, do you know that in court, in any case, there will be some people who will go to court and you will never know that?
Exactly. That's what I said it. You would never know.
Because you see, the way judicial review is done in the Cayman Islands since 2019, it is done in secret. Because normally what you would do is before 2019 and in all parts of the Commonwealth, what happens is that if you want to apply for judicial review, you apply for what is called leave. Leave just means permission. What does it mean? It means that you go to court first. There's a preliminary assessment to say, is there an arguable case here? If you've got an arguable case, not necessarily a strong case, but just something that looks like there's something that needs a bit more of examination, they give you leave, then you bring the judicial review application, then it becomes public. Since 2019, what they do is that if you apply for leave, because a lot of the people who will apply who will challenge this law, they will challenge it through judicial review. What they will do is they'll apply to court for leave, and that hearing is put on a confidential file. If I sue you, Sabrina, today in a regular writ because you owe me money or you damaged my bike and so on, that writ is public straight away. When you go to court there, you will find it on a public register and the press can go there, they read and quote it and so forth. This is how a lot of this information we read in the paper gets into the paper. But for judicial review, it's not like that. Once you apply for judicial review, it is put on a confidential file. And once it is put on a confidential file, if, say, leave is not granted, then we will never know. Okay? The public will never know. But if leave is granted, then they put it on the open file. So the ones that we will come to know about are those cases where leave has been granted. Now, by the way, without getting into my case, that's a matter which I challenge in the Court of Appeal, and I'm taking it to the Privy Council. But I just thought I should mention that because it violates the rights of the public under Section 7 of the Constitution to have what is called the open justice principle. The open justice principle is that as soon as you file an application in court, it should be in public. Now, what you file after that is between you, the parties. But the first document that you file, it's supposed to be public. So in this case, we don't even know whether we don't know if some people have actually challenged this.
Right.
We will only know if leave is granted.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
That's a long answer. That's a long answer to your question.
I think, and I hope we will have to break this down as this continues to develop, unfold, but there is a sense of frustration. There's a lot of miscommunication out there, and it is derived from people holding fast to what is principal law, the or unaligned of a guidebook. And then even when persons appear to get a service done, it's something totally different. So we have three competing things that are not meshing. You understand? Yeah. And there's a lot of misinformation. So it is just trying to get a common semblance. And I'm hoping that in short order that, we would be able to get something that is concrete, something that is stable. And this is why I'm trying to do this as general as possible, because there's so much things going on right now that people are confused and there needs some clarity. But the principal law in itself should be the only thing that people are standing firm on. Am I correct?
You see, the principal law was passed, and that's the one that we should stand on. Now, they said they were going to do regulations. I believe the regulations have also been done. I mean, there are also these issues about what is in the regulations and what is in the act and all that. I mean, look, this wasn't properly done. These are some of the things I identified when I was in government about things which needed to be corrected, how they are done, so that things like this don't occur. But of course, people didn't want to hear what I was saying. Okay. But let me leave you there.
Hold on, we got two things from Harry before you go, because I got to return back that call. Harry is saying, before you go, caller, please can you give a brief summary on your opinion on the UK Supreme Court ruling on R. Miller versus the Prime Minister in 2019, or more commonly known as the propagation case? Sorry, it's a very different topic, but I'm really curious because I keep hearing a bunch of different opinions on whether they have the power to do what they did.
Well, I'm not quite familiar with that particular issue. What was it about?
That's all Harry gave us. So what we'll have to do, I'll copy and paste this and I'll send this to you, and maybe on another time you can
another time.
You can weigh in on it.
Look at it and so on.
Yeah, but thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. Always good to call and have a chat with you and
Yes,
your
sir.
audience. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Yes. We're going to get, we got to call back that caller, and then we're going to, I'm going to share that with them. So 1 second. We're going to call back that caller. There we go. Let's call this caller back. There we go. I see we got all of our, I was putting some pictures up there in regards to our content creators in Bloom. Hello? Nope. There we go. Well, caller, please call back, and we'd be more than happy to take your call. So, yeah, I know we're playing catch up here this evening. Damian Henry is in the house. Thank you so much. And I put this up when that last caller. Yes, we're doing this at 6:30, almost in reverse today, but that's how we do it here on our summer edition open mic segment here on Sabrina Speaks. He says, "Good evening, all. You learn a lot about someone by what they choose to do when no one is watching. True character isn't revealed by public actions, but by the choices made in private when there is no applause, no recognition, and no one to hold them accountable. It is in these quiet moments that persons values integrity and authenticity and shines through." Damien, thank you so much for that. Miss Barbara G is also with us as well. And Miss Dorothy, I know a lot of you were here with us from the beginning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm hoping that you are able to enjoy that pirogue, not rogue. Okay, yeah, autocorrect. Thank you. But he's going to look at that to Harry and get back to you. Of course, we got our beautiful flowers of the day. Thanks from Dawn of Green Valley Nursery out there in Lower Valley. She is sharing with us these beauties for today. And that's Green Valley Nursery, open from 7 until 4, Monday to Saturday. Dawn, you can go out there and she can help you. Some of these beauties, I'm quite sure she'd be more than happy to sell them to you. Yep. So, and guess what? Connie is sharing with us her photos of the day. The other image that you sent, Connie, I couldn't share that because that was an emoji or something like that. So these are what they look good in. The East Indians look like, and I don't even see Cayman long mango. Oh my gosh, yes. But these are beauties, and guess what? We got from the UK today. This beautiful image here from the United Kingdom. Now, for full disclosure, this was before the brutal heat wave. Yeah. And they are regretting not taking more pictures before the heat wave because everything right now is parched. So thank you for capturing these images for us. Thank you for sharing them with us as well. We appreciate that very, very much. And like anywhere you are in the world, if you want to share with us here on the Sabrina Speaks platform, we're more than happy to definitely get you featured here. And we appreciate all of these beautiful images. So, hello, my dear. You're live. I'm calling you back, my dear.
I see them, Miss Indian, tell her, sell me some.
Oh, you see them? Yes, they look delicious, don't they?
And they're pretty. And well, they're the two mangoes I like the most in the East Indian, the Jula. But I got one bag of Jula when you coming up. A friend called me, and I said, you give me green mango. She said, well, you not eat all on one time, and they got right and spoil. I said, well, that's true because I threw away some pineapple. I bought pineapple mango, which I never heard of before.
I've heard of that.
He gave my son one, and Julian said the meat is very thick, and I bought 2 of them, and I bought some Julian from East Indian. I paid like $12.50 for them, and I went and leave them make them raw.
Oh, wow. Oh, no. What a waste, Michelle.
I know. But what I was saying, he also have a mango sauce that they make, and it smells good, but it's peppery. Julian bought one for $5, and it named something. Creation of mango or something like that. But it smells really good. Okay. I don't. And my friend, she told me last night, she bringing me the Honduran malt and pepper sauce, the one that girl makes, Sean Holder, whatever. I said, well, bring it, but I'll probably give it to somebody, but I'm not a pepper person. So pepper burns my stomach. Okay. But anyway, I was saying, how could I weigh in because I didn't know you were going to have the water authority people on. But today now, listen why I discovered when I was bathing today now, and that's the first, because like I tell you, I don't drink the water. But when I was bathing, that I went to, because I was washing my hair, and but and then well, when you're washing your hair, you wash your face. And when I went to wash my face, like a little bit get on your lip, and it had taste like salt. I mean, I say, my son said, but this water tastes salty today, which is a first, because like I tell you, I don't drink it. And I bathed with it and wash and stuff, but today it had taste salty. And that's the point. I didn't tell you a lie. It had, kind of a bit get on your lip, and it tastes delicate, hard salt. And then I say, God, look at her now.
Well,
I don't doubt them for what they're saying. I understand everything, because we were on our way to the north side. I go and get some coconut oil before we come here. But like I say, each to his own. I don't drink it. I don't care what they say. I'm not condemning them and saying that, what they say is not true. But I don't choose to drink it and I hope that I never ever have to drink it. Because like what that girl was saying too, sometimes it has, like I tell you, especially when you have a breakage, I notice the color be bad for days. And that's what I don't like with it. And like I say, I don't care who want to put filter or whatever, like I tell you, I'm not condemning nobody. Each to his own, different stroke for different folks. And I'll put this little saying, tell them, well, if you don't like my fruit, don't shake my tree. That's a saying that we had. And don't watch me, watch TV.
But at the end of the day, if you're concerned, the good takeaway from that is that if anybody has any concerns with their tap water at home, you are welcome to get them get it tested, because if you smell something, so that is, you can't say that they're not open.
I really don't smell nothing, to be honest. I never ever smell it that it smell bad, but today it had taste like salt. When a little bit hit my lip, it had taste salty, just like salt water. Then, like, when you go to the scene, you bathe, and you get a little salt on your lip, like I said. And I said to him, this is the first. I said, why does water taste salty?
Oh, wow. And you're in the Newlands area for context. You're in the Newlands area.
Yeah. And then I clean my teeth with it, and I forget to, and I wash my mouth with the mouthwash afterward, but it has never ever tasted salty. But
but today whenever that happened, it was a little bit more salty than what you're.
My teeth, it did on my lip, and it had taste salty. And I said, this water tastes salty today. I might be doing something. When I was little, Cayman. That's the one thing that I didn't like with the water up there, because that water was kind of harsh up there. And my hair used to feel like coconut chip. When I wash my hair with that time as well, that's it. The only thing I don't like with this water, because that water was kind of salty. And my skin used to itch me, because that's why I don't go to the beach and things much, because salt water itches me. Because I see people, we have one little guy home, he used to go and bathe in the salt water and do rinse. And I tell him, I said, well, you might be hive like them old way fish or something. I said, because even after I bathe in the salt, I have to spray it on. When I come home and rinse off and bathe with your soap or your body wash, my skin still itch. I got funny skin. I have to spray alcohol all over me. I keep spraying my skin itching. I don't like. And when my daughter comes, we go to the beach, I have to carry a gallon of fresh water to wash my face, because just from the beach to get home, I get itchy. I have to wash my face. Especially, and when that water get on my lip, I said, Jesus, it tastes salty today. And we were just discussing, and then I was saying, like a coincidence, because we were just discussing water yesterday.
Right.
And how, like, and then, like I tell you, people would doubt you and think that, it sounds like a lie, but I swear on my dad, mother, it's no lie. That tastes salty to me. I don't know. And I felt the little earthquake this morning. I felt it. But I had just got up, because I leave my phone out in the sitting room, charging at night. But then I never hardly sleep, because after 11, the nurse called me, poor baby. He was crying. He wanted me to come get him. He won't come home. He alert now.
Oh, well, he's feeling good then. That's good.
Yeah, he won't come home. And we talked, and I say, the nurse not discharge yet. I said, I come in today because I right here now, and he wanted to come home. I said, yeah, he know where he is now, because he didn't even know he is, so that's a good sign. Thank God that he can't come yet. So anyway, I was laying down, and I had just got up and got my phone about after 7, and I looked to see what my woman that I got some food had cooked today, put in my order before they had sell out. And I went and I lay back down, and I went to become a leg hurting, and I was laying down in the bed, and I told him, I said, I wasn't sure till when I see come up on my, but I said, I know it was wrong after 8 when I felt that. And I was laying right down on my back, not moving. And all of a sudden, it wasn't, I wouldn't tell a lie because I felt heavier earthquake, not in Jamaica, but I just felt like something moved my bed, you know, like somebody just grabbed the bed and shake it.
It was a jerk.
And,
it was a jerk.
Yeah. And I said, that stop to myself. Then it went, but then it come the second time. And it, and I said, my God, but this bed is moving. I said, I wonder if it's an earthquake, just like that to myself. And sure enough, to get up in here. And then my friend told me she was sitting in her chair, Crew Road, and she felt the two little, you know, like the chair were rocking a little bit. And then when my son come out, he said, he now feeling that. And he said, well, but see all the stuff up on my TV. I said, well, it wasn't that heavy to shake like that, to knock down things, but it just felt like a little, you know, like a little rock, two little rocks. That's all I thought. Then I heard them say, in the bank in town. I didn't know what it was. And I thought it was off town, but they said it was off Borden town after I saw my room.
Yes.
And they said it was 4.5. And it happened 8:40,
8:42 this morning. Yes.
Something like that. And then they say everybody from the CNB Bank in town run out, and that girl told me all her daughter work bricked in. They said that their building shake, and they said that the people of Pedro Castle feel it. I say, oh my God, here again.
But you would understand the people of Pedro Castle would feeling it because it was right off out in that vicinity based on the image that I have here, 27 miles southeast of Borden town.
I wonder if anybody I felt it, but then when I hear about this big old one that they had in Japan, Japan, that all these people, that was a 7 point something. I said, oh my God, here you again. Yeah, but I felt my bed move 2 little times.
I can only describe it as a juck, literally like one juck, and I was wide awake because
it was just, you know, like light. But I say, well, you know, I wasn't moving, but I recognized that, well, I felt something, but it's not me moving because I was on my back. I never moved. And then, well, it gave a little shake, and then it stopped. But then a second one come, and then when I realized, I said to myself, oh my God, I wonder if it's a earthquake. And sure enough, I was. That's why I felt two little whatever somebody is. And I said, Jesus. And then my friend telling me about, well, when you feel earthquake, run. I said, you come and telling me about run. You say I can't hardly walk. I said, yesterday when you come bring that food, you drive off, and you say I couldn't even get back up on my step 2 times and it'll fall down. You want to drive off and leave me there. My son went inside sleeping and I didn't have the phone. I said, you talking about run, but they say the best spot to get in an earthquake is in a threshold, like a threshold of a, you know, door threshold, and don't and I say about run out, suppose the earth open up and suck in. They say get into a threshold, and normally that's the safest place. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I heard. But people do run out of buildings and stuff, and then sometimes the earth open up. I remember that earthquake we had that time. The
sinkholes.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of information on Cayman. Prepared Hazard Management did deliver. We will be sharing the links. I've actually did a lot of posts. I've also shared posts. So is on the general CMR home channel page. And there's a lots of information there. I mean, we're not accustomed to earthquakes here in the Cayman Islands, but we are in the zone for it. And something like that you can't even forecast, like how you can prepare for a hurricane. So I think we really need to pay more attention, because if you got these different apps, you can watch it. You can watch what's happening in and around the region. Between 8:42 this morning and around 10:30, there were 5 other earthquakes, not directly in the same vicinity of the Cayman Islands, but in and around the area. And for today alone, oh my God, it's been an extra active day around the world. I was awoken this morning by an alert that I got on my phone with the Japan one. And I was off from around 4 a.m. Weird enough. And then you kept seeing it coming up, not to inundate yourself, but when I got up like that and I was just not feeling right, I couldn't put my finger on it. But this is the second time this has happened. The last time that we had like an earthquake, I just felt bad, but I couldn't tell you what it was. and then it happens. So today is the second time that we have had an earthquake here in Cayman that I can tell you before the actual event. It's just like I cannot explain how I'm feeling. And I don't know, but we have to check it out. That's just me.
One other time we had one hand, people asked me about if I felt it, and I said, well, I know, and they said, well, that was like, you know, a little hard on this, and I said, well, I don't know where I was, but I never feel nothing. But I felt this one this morning, which, like I tell you, it wasn't, to me, it wasn't bad. I felt worse.
It was so quick. It was a
that
sudden
time,
jolt. It was a sudden jolt.
And then somebody's telling me now about that we may have several little
aftershocks. Yeah, aftershocks.
Well,
yeah.
What a thing about it. Well, I guess it creates my big God. I don't know.
Well, what we do is that we encourage persons to download the NEMS app from Hazard Management, and I again will share that. I think Sandra shared it earlier on. I think there was another interview as well that she did with Hazard Management talking about these things. And we can only encourage our residents to stay alert at all times. Now, that may sound cliche, but it's the truth. You cannot prepare or forecast. You got ideas based on what's happening around the world, but with the earthquake, it's a little hard. You can prepare days, weeks in advance sometimes for hurricanes. But you can't do that with an earthquake.
Be farming and stuff, and you see that.
Correct.
But these things just comes like
it's
a
sudden.
Like
yes.
A thief in the night. You're not expecting them; they just appear.
That's why you should always be prepared, and that's the resounding message. Always be prepared for anything, and yeah. But live happy, Michelma is saying. Michelma, it sounds is so. Michelma sounds so much better, meaning you sound so much better. Happy things are improving. Live Happy is saying that you sound so much better and that they're happy that things are improving.
And I keep in the faith, and a lot of people praying, and God is good. And I think this too shall pass. It's just a time.
Yes, ma'am.
But we hoping for the best.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
But so far, things looking pretty good. So we just have to, like I say, time does everything, so we just gotta wait. We can't predict nothing, whatever, like I say, whatever. But so far things are looking good, and we hope that the treatment that he doing now work and whatever. But he look good, and he alert now because he want to go home.
Well, whenever you hear him say they want to go home, that means they're feeling better. That's a good sign.
Yeah, he didn't know where he was and stuff, and he want to go home now because he noticed that he wrong strangers. And I mean, although he's seeing these nurses and things, one out different one every day, or sometimes the same one for the whole month, but he still realized now that. And the other day when we asked him, he didn't know where he was or not, but now he won't. And he made her call me after 11 last night.
That's good, though.
And I thought they got a talking thing on him. You can hear him, his voice now is raspy. It wasn't. I could hear him in that time. I said, but Bill, you can't come home. I said, I know. And then his niece came from England yesterday, and when she appeared at the door, you could see his face
light up.
And he FaceTime with his mother and his aunt and stuff, and Jovita and thing yesterday. And today he not bad. He right there. He get up just now. And then he glad now that they're making him get up. But then somebody have to be here because he's for risk. But he won't go to the toilet. He don't want that pump on.
All right.
He
Fair
don't
enough.
want that.
Well, thank you for the updates. We appreciate that. Leave us there and keep us updated. Thank you for sharing with us your experience this morning as well.
Yeah, and people come and pray for him after yesterday, and that's good.
Excellent.
And sang and read and stuff. So, and he says his prayer before we leave, we make him repeat it, and he repeats it. So
nice.
God is good.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, my love.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
To get this boy, and now I guess I'll be okay. But boy, just give me time. I make an appointment, see what they can do with this now.
All right.
But we want a surgery, God knows. But I can see what Dr. Larson suggests.
Okay.
Again, now because it was from me before last, and I keep putting off stuff too. But it's getting really bad now, and it's bothering me. So I'm gonna have to decide do something.
What are you gonna do? Yep. Thank you, Michelle.
I don't know.
Looking forward to hearing from you tomorrow.
Anything else besides surgery?
All right, my dear.
Georgette tell me get it, but I don't know, boy.
Well, there we go.
Okay.
All right, my dear. Thanks. Sure. Dean is weighing in, Shalette. Good to have you join us, Dean. So shall be the coming of the Lord like a thief in the night and sudden. Well, I tell you what, that was so sudden this morning. The juck I sat straight up. And I know for sure I was wide awake. And it was something to experience. There were some people, again, we're getting stories out of Georgetown, other parts of the island that actually didn't feel anything. And some persons felt it, but and what I'm talking about is the earthquake that we had this morning. But they were saying maybe they felt a little dizzy in their head or were doubting. But yeah, it was a bit weird. And I got up, and then the second one, and there was a third one, but those were so close together, you would think that it was a continuous tremor. But there was two distinct other ones immediately after the jolt. I'm no expert, but great. Kudos out to, again, Sandra for getting Danny and the relevant persons on her show in real and live time, and was able to pretty much, give the latest information. And I'm hoping the phones kept going off. Oh my gosh, the app from the NEMS app. And for those persons who have not downloaded that, look, it's worth downloading it. It may seem annoying, but it may come in very, very important. Should anything happen, let's say you're sleeping, you're not even, because some people sleep for dead. And you may think, oh, well, okay, that's just the dogs. If you have dogs that hit the bed or something like that. But when this alert goes off, trust me, that'll wake anything. And it constantly goes off. And even when they give updates and stuff, you are aware and advised. So, but yeah, where were you? Did you feel it? If you were, tell me where you were on the island this morning, if you felt any of the shaking, the trembling, whatever you felt. It would be good to hear from you if you did feel it. But overall, with what's happening around the world, I must say that we have to be very thankful here in the Cayman Islands. I was speaking to another friend. I made some calls to some of my seniors in and around the area. And some felt it and some didn't. Some thought it was just, their head. They were up that time of the morning, getting ready to have their breakfast and take their medication. Some people were just like doubting what they felt. And, you feel the chair move, and it's amazing to hear the different stories and how people were thinking the last thing from your mind, oh, it's an earthquake. And they were just blaming themselves for not feeling well. So yeah, Donnie is saying she felt it twice. Yeah, the first one, like I said, I was still in bed, and that was a hell of a jolt. It was like somebody took the four posts of the bed and they just did a certain juck, and then the dog started barking, and then I got up immediately and I walked to the living room, and then wasn't too long after that, then I felt two other little ones, but they were not major. You could just hear the little rattling, and they were short. So I felt two other ones after that for a total. And I think I mentioned, or I did a post, 3 in less than 3 minutes. That's how I felt. But it's based on where you were, what you were doing. Some people didn't feel it at all. They said that if you're driving, not all the time, unless it's really, really strong, that you would have felt it if you're moving. And certain parts of the island, of course, did not feel anything at all. So thanks for sharing. And you're in Loire Valley, Dawn. So I would understand you would feel that out there based on what the images show off of Cayman, if you see where the epicenter was, and based off our Loire Valley area. So it's very interesting. But like I said, earthquakes are not something that you can actually prepare for. Like you can say, oh, we'll get another one. We have to look at patterns from what we're seeing. And we have to, the seismologist and all of those persons who studied these things, and they're looking at the plates. We got the trench around us, our deep water, that unless it's really, really shallow, that's when you would really feel it a lot here. Now, this one is saying, based on the location this morning, was 6.2 miles in depth. That's how deep down it was. But of course, it was not long. And this is based on the data that is from here, but it would be good to hear somebody that talks about it. Of course, the more shallow it is, meaning to the surface, the more shaking we will get. If you're living close to the water, on the water, some areas based on the distance, you will get and feel that more vibration, like a wave action type feel. So yeah, Dawn, I know for sure that you would have felt it off there if you were, stationary in that area. And Stevenson saying, I was asleep. I didn't feel a thing in West Bay. Interesting. Couple of friends said that. What are you talking about? What are you sending me? They were out like a light. And yeah, a lot of people didn't feel it. And some were wide awake and still didn't feel it. But you know what? We still have so much to be thankful for here. And my thoughts and prayers, my heart go out to even those who are still trying their best to pick up the pieces in Venezuela. Some of those people are still not found their loved ones. And look at how long that has happened. And most recently in Japan. We're all over the world. It is summer, and right now information is still coming out of Japan with that 7.1 that hit them earlier on today, which would be earlier on in our morning. And I'm quite sure in the hours ahead and more pictures come out, we are going to hear a bit more. But from all accounts and purposes, there has been lots of activity around the world, as usually always, but it's just extra active recently. Is it because we are more aware? Is it we're more in tuned? We had one right now, according to this, 23 miles northwest of San Antonio, Puerto Rico. That was 5 minutes ago, and that was a 3.0. Yeah, and that was at 6:50. And then Puerto Rico, again, another 3.50 around 4:19 this afternoon. So that's within our vicinity. And look, at 4:05, there was another 3.4 near the coast of Nicaragua. Now, this is all in our area, And even though that was at 4:05, and then you got them all over. We got the Arkansas, they have been shaking as well. El Salvador at 254, that's 3.28. And yeah, so even the US right now has been actually having them. Arkansas has had a 3.70 and a 3.50. 1, 2, 3, 4 in Arkansas, one at 349, 352, and 354 today. This is in the US. So to tell you that it's not active is an understatement. And the one that happened most recently, that's 7 minutes ago, based on this app, was off Puerto Rico, and that was a 3.0. Yeah. So we can only just keep each other in our thoughts and prayers. Try to be prepared as much as you can and be alert. Listen to local services and your media. We know that lots of information are out there, reputable sources as well, that you can subscribe to and help yourself so that you're always being prepared. But don't inundate yourself with everything, because it could get a bit much for you to focus on. But that's funny that one right off Puerto Rico, not as strong, but it's still within our area, right? So the key is to always be aware, always be prepared. When you hear that, it may sound repetitive, but it's true. They are making a lot of sense. And always keep in touch and informed with your local media. So I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I want to thank our guests, the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage, for coming on and sharing with us about their upcoming camp that's about to take place. Please remember that spaces are limited, and that is from the 10th to the 16th. And for those of you, this is a free event. Willie Stewart, a percussionist and drummer, former Third World Band, he is there. He will be training all of these lucky children who are able to land themselves a spot and be a part of this free event that will be taking place at the Intergenerational Hub. And also kudos go out to, and huge appreciation go out to the staff of Water Authority who were here with us earlier on in the show. We want to thank them for coming on and giving us a sneak peek of what's behind the scene. I'm hoping that you were able to get a better understanding and be more assured that our tap water is safe to consume, and they're explaining exactly what that testing could mean. Ms. Barbara had a comment that she made here. Ms. Barbara G, I'm an East End and fully water authority, she says. I have a filter on my fridge, but my tenants all use bottled water. I have tried to tell them that there is no reason to spend the extra money to no avail. And like what others people say, to each his own. But the good thing is, I'm just happy that Water Authority was able to come on and hopefully give some clarity to exactly what could have been out there. And Ms. Krista Powell, Ms. Marcella Ebanks, and Ms. Stoll, I want to thank them all for taking time out. And to Ms. Julia, the director, the lady in charge, thank you so much for answering that call and for allowing and availing your staff to come out here and educate the public. But it's been a pleasure bringing you another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Looking forward for Hump Day Wednesday to bring you another informative, exciting episode where the summer open mic edition continues here. And we will be covering whatever you want. Let's hope we're not jolted again. But whatever you want, the mic is yours. The information is yours. Gather your pictures, gather all of those information you want to share. We can talk about it. We can laugh. A lighter, what Connie says, a kinder, gentler world right here on Sabrina Speaks. Do have a good evening. Good night. God bless. From me to you, lots of love. See you tomorrow. Good night.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.